5 seconds to the open. Ready?
Who wants to get this thing started right about now?
Welcome to Follow the Money Weekly with your host, Jerry Robinson.
Welcome.
Not just some guru.
Oh, really?
Your host is an economist and a best-selling author.
What an interesting news item. I'd better write that down.
And just someone who likes to make money and help you to make money. Welcome to Follow the Money Weekly. And here he is, Jerry Robinson.
Welcome, friends, to you all around the world. Welcome to Follow the Money Radio. So grateful to have you here today. My name is Jerry Robinson, your host, your guide, leading you on an excursion to truth right here every single week. FollowTheMoney.com, Follow the Money Radio. You can find all kinds of free information, lots of podcast archives, lots of articles we've written over the years right there on our website, FollowTheMoney.com. You know, we're also on social media, too. I never really talk about it, do I? But you can go to twitter.com/FTM Daily and facebook.com/FTM Daily. FTM Daily is the brand that we came out with in 2010. FTM means follow the money. We just shortened it down and just simply called it followthemoney.com. Nice and simple and easy. But you can find all of those social media links right there on our website. And you know what, by the way, we are extremely excited right now here at our headquarters about the upcoming 2018 summit that's going to be held in beautiful Fayetteville, Arkansas, right here in our headquarters city. And very, very excited about this. In fact, I'm looking at the itinerary is the word I'm looking for as I'm looking at it, and I see all of the different speeches that are going to be going on, all of the different topics that we're going to have at this upcoming summit. And I'm just getting tickled as I think about the breakthroughs that are going to happen for you when you come and hear the many different topics and the many different ideas, the idea bombs that are going to go off in your mind. I know it's going to happen for those of you who are coming. So we're going to be talking about all different kinds of things. We're going to be talking about option strategies. I'm going to share with you three of my favorite ones that I've been using, since 2002. So I'm going to share with you three powerful option strategies. I'm also going to reveal our 180 stock trading strategy. This is our position trading strategy. I've never revealed this before in a live setting. I have only revealed it to members. And so this is a really interesting thing that we're going to be doing. You'll see at the summit. We're also going to be giving away, check this out, we're giving away $250,000. Did I say that right? $250,000 in online income coaching. This is unreal, what we normally charge and what we're going to be giving away at this summit. So it's simply amazing what is going to be going down in Fayetteville, Arkansas, the May 25th, May 26th. If you live anywhere in the area around this summit, I would encourage you to make it out there. It's free. You can come. You can bring your other half or your best friend or whoever and come along. We should have enough seats to seat everybody. And then those of you who have paid for the dinner with myself and Trace Mayer and all the other speakers will be there as well. You're in for a treat. We're going to be talking about cryptocurrencies. Oh, it's just going to be so much fun. We're going to have Tom Cloud there, who's also on the program today. We're going to have Mike Mitchell there, who's one of our leading Christian financial advisors in our Christian Advisor Referral Network. We're going to have Steve Penny there, who is a newcomer, and he is the chief funnel builder here at followthemoney.com. So I'm telling you, it's just going to be an amazing time. And we're giving away a lot of stuff, too. We're giving away some silver. We're even giving away some cryptocurrencies. I mean, it's going to be nuts. So we're going to have a great time. I cannot wait to see all of you there. And because I am literally so busy getting prepared for this summit, what I did is I looked back in the archive and I said, let me find a really good podcast from the archive that I can replay today. And I did. I found one that I go over 7 different keys, wisdom keys for achieving financial independence. And I think for those of you out there listening to my voice today, and you're striving for financial independence, you're trying to break free, what you're going to hear over the next few minutes, I'm going to play this. This is just going into the archive maybe 10 months ago. But what was said on this podcast, I think, bears repeating. So sit back and enjoy as we talk about the 7 wisdom keys to achieving financial independence. I think you'll really enjoy this. And then on the other side of that, we'll be joined by Tom Cloud, Mike Mitchell, and then I'll have a final word. Enjoy. And in fact, today what I want to do is I want to go over 7 different steps that you can take to break free financially, right? Just 7 simple ideas that I'm going to throw out in today's podcast. And each one of them, just a little nugget, I believe a little nugget of truth that'll help you along the way. Let's just run through these in this first segment. Let's begin with number 1, the very first step. And these are not necessarily in any kind of order. I just wrote these down randomly earlier today because I really wanted to share with you financial independence. It was rolling around in my mind. What do you need to be able to break free financially? What do you need? What kind of mental thought? What kind of attitude? Well, the very first step I have here is to learn the difference between good debt and bad debt. It may shock you to know that not all debt is necessarily bad. Not all debt is necessarily good, right? So when we talk about money being debt, somebody says, no, all debt is bad. Okay, well then give me all of your dollar bills because they're all debt. Somebody says, well, that doesn't make any sense. No, it does make sense. It's real. It says right there on the money, and everybody knows that if you do any research into this economy, you will very quickly discover that it is a debt-based economy. Therefore, dollar bills are a form of good debt, right? You would like to have more of that kind of debt, right? So U.S. dollar bills are a form of debt, right? Getting your mind wrapped around that idea, although it's very bizarre, is important for you to be able to succeed because you can then understand that dollar bills in and of themselves over time lose value. It's important for you to take those paper dollar bills and put them in appreciating assets, things that go up. Dollars don't go up in value, right? So we want to put our dollars into something that is going to rise in value. And far too often, the banks and the financial institutions, they are more than willing to leave us indebted over things that really don't go up in value. Let me give you a couple of examples. And I don't mean to step on your toes out there if you're listening to this today, but these are some hard things that need to be said, about the money situation. So for example, if you're the kind of person who needs a new car all the time, every 2 or 3 years, and you're financing that debt, well, if you have a business or you have a job where that car is really required, then that might be a form of good debt. But if not, if it's just merely to keep up with the Joneses, then that would be a perfect example of bad debt. If you go out and spend $10,000 on a brand new wardrobe because you feel like it, and you put it on the credit card, that's an example of bad debt. But if you need that wardrobe in order to work your job, or maybe it's part of your career or whatever the case might be, then that might be an example of good debt because you're going to make more money having that wardrobe. If you go to college and you have no clue what you want to study, you just want to go get a degree because everybody else in your school is getting a degree, and then you go get the degree and then you end up not using the degree because you ended up doing something else, that's a perfect example of bad debt, right? But if you go get a degree because you want to increase your marketability and your skill set, and you do it specifically to go out and get a good job, and then you pay off that debt over time with that new job, then that's an example of good debt. So debt can be good, debt can be bad. It's important to know the difference. Now, we have actually created a very simple 5-page PDF report called How to Pay Off Debt Fast, 5 Steps to Debt Freedom. You can download that completely free on our website. Just go to our website and click on the Resources tab right there on the top menu and click on the Debt Freedom 101 button, or you can just go to our website. Just go to ftmdaily.com/debt, and you can download that PDF report right there. So if you're looking to break free financially, one of the first things to do is to really learn the difference between good debt and bad debt and realize that everywhere you look is nothing but debt. The money that you're paid, the paycheck that you get, Everything around you is debt. So this idea of somehow getting out of debt or being free from debt is a complete joke, unless you're just going to completely move away from the US dollar, because again, the dollar is a debt-based system. So be careful not to get in this mindset of, I'm going to have no debt and all debt is bad in every way, shape, or form, because that's how this economy works, right? That's how this economy works. I'm not saying the debt is good. I'm not saying that debt is always bad. I'm simply saying that it is a fact of life, and we have to understand it if we want to be financially free. All right, so that's step number one. Let me give you another one here. I got 7 of these I wrote down this morning I want to share with you. Number 2 is to know your options when it comes to financial freedom. Now, when we say financial freedom, we probably think of someone who doesn't have to work at a job because he has enough money to take care of himself, right, without a job, right? So knowing your options, how are you going to create that money or that income in order to be free from a job, so to speak? Well, it's important for you to know the 3 different types of income sources. Believe it or not, there are only 3 sources of income. They only come from 3 places. Number 1, and here they are. If you're taking notes, write this down. Number 1 is paper assets. So paper assets throw off income. If you put money into the stock market, into a dividend-paying stock, you're actually buying a paper certificate, aren't you? You're an investor in the company, but it's a piece of paper in essence. And so because of that, you may receive a dividend. So you receive cash flow from that. You could also receive capital gains if the stock price goes up. Paper is also things like bonds, CDs, money markets, and all of these other types of financial instruments that are really paper, but they do provide cash flow through interest or dividends or whatever the case might be. The second form of, or the second income stream, I should say, is from real estate. Real estate is one of the 3 areas that throw off income. So if you buy a piece of real estate, you can rent it out and earn income, right? So taking on debt to buy maybe buy a piece of affordable housing or a good bread and butter house in your neighborhood to rent out, that can be an example of good debt. So you have paper, real estate, and what's the third one? The third one is business. So you can either go work for someone else's business who is providing value in the community, or you can start your own business. It could be a part-time business, a side business, maybe you moonlight on the side. But either way, money comes or flows from 3 different sources: paper assets, real estate, and business, or what we might say business activity. Now, I encourage you to develop income streams from all 3 of these, right? It's important to have diversified income streams. And by the way, among these 3 areas of income, there are many different little income streams that you can create from each one of them, right? So with a business activity, for example, you don't just have to start a business or necessarily, even be an employee at a business. You could actually invest into a local business, right? And put your money to work. So there's all different kinds of ways to think about real estate, paper assets, and business activity when it comes to income streams. The key, though, is to know where those income streams, what those sources are, and then to begin developing them for your own family and diversifying them across all 3. All right, so we've already gone over number 1, which is to learn the difference between good debt and bad debt. Number 2, know your options about your different income sources that you can create. All right, so there's 2. Let's do number 3. Number 3 is to consider upgrading your skill set, to specialize. Maybe you are in a job, but that job is just really not going anywhere. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say that you are in a field such as construction. Let's say that you are a construction worker. You're swinging a hammer every day, and you're busy doing a lot of things, and maybe you're interfacing even with customers, and you've learned a lot of things as a person in the construction business. Well, if you're in that business and you're not making the kind of money that you would like to make, then you can consider looking at some sort of periphery business that uses that same skill set, but maybe you have to specialize a bit more and you'll make more money. Let me tell you something that's very hot in parts of my own community is people who are able to install the Internet of Things technology into homes. Many people are taking their homes now and upgrading them. They're trying to make their homes smart. Many rich neighborhoods across the country are really kind of computerizing their homes. And whenever those things break down, they need people to come and work on them. Well, if you specialize in something like that, you are going to be part of the future, right? You're going to be a part of that wave of the future as more people move into the smart home technology, the Internet of Things. You could take your understanding of going into somebody's house and installing something or fixing something, and you could just tweak your skill just ever so slightly to be able to become relevant in this 21st century. Now, there are all kinds of examples we could give. We don't have time to go through all the different ideas, but the point is that for you to consider upgrading your skill set, that could be, going back to school for another year, maybe going to some sort of technology school, maybe learning computer coding, whatever the case might be. There are so many ways for you to upgrade your skill set, especially computer coding, in fact. That's one of the key areas for the future, being able to understand different types of computer languages, understanding network security, internet security. All of these things are huge, and they're going to continue to be huge in the future. So consider upgrading your skill set if you want to achieve a better financial situation and eventually financial independence. All right, so there's number 3, upgrade your skill set. Let's move to number 4. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Oh, boy, howdy. Isn't this one a big one? I mean, it really is. Many people don't understand the difference between their wants and their needs, right? Their needs and their wants sometimes get convoluted because we live in a time where credit is so easy and people can afford the finest things. I'll tell you, this is a perfect example. I was recently out at a public gathering, and I was simply astonished by the amount of perceived wealth that I saw. People wearing fine clothes and people driving brand new cars. But when you look at the actual numbers of the economy, I mean, I'm an economist, so I look at that stuff, and I know better. I know most people who look rich are not rich. I know that most people that you see who have a nice new car, or maybe they have new clothes, or maybe their kids are wearing fine clothes, that does not necessarily mean that if they lost their job, that they wouldn't be out on the street in 2 months, right? So don't be fooled by that. And unfortunately, we are creatures of habit, and we are very moldable in our minds. And so when we see other people enjoying things that we feel that we could enjoy as well, we don't really tend to think about our wants versus our needs. We just go for it. And this, unfortunately, kind of self-perpetuates a cycle that leaves us on this treadmill, right? Where we always need something new. We always need the latest gadgets. One of the smartest things you can do is turn off your television. One of the practices that my family implemented early on, and I think this is just a very simple one, but I think it was very effective, is when the commercials came on the television, we would mute them, right? I think that's a smart idea. Muting the commercials, not letting all of those ads just pour into your children's head and into your head, right? I thought that was a smart idea, and I've implemented that with my own family. And even better, how about just turning the television off, right? Because, again, that box that sits in your home is designed to get you to go out and spend money. I mean, that's what it's for, right? The corporations that create channels, the shows that are on the television. I can't tell you how many people are influenced by television when it comes to their finances, and we end up looking like the tube, right? We end up wanting to dress like people on television. It's just one of these things that's very dangerous if you're trying to seek out financial independence. You've got to think independently. You've got to think outside the box. You can't be part of the herd if you want to break free financially. All right, I think I've said enough there. So stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses are broke, so don't try to keep up with them, okay? So that's number 4. Let's move on to number 5. We got 7 here. Let's move on to number 5. Now, this one's a really, really big one. It may be controversial, partially. But if you want to stay financially independent or you want to become financially independent, try to avoid the medical industrial complex and I'm going to say it, I may have to bite my tongue afterwards, and the college industrial complex. All right? So these 2 areas can be a huge, huge drain upon your financial life. I have met so many people over the years who have been totally destroyed financially because an unexpected event sent them to the hospital or something happened and they ended up giving a whole bunch of money to the medical industrial complex, right? To the hospitals and to the doctors and all of this. And it can be so outrageous, the money that you can spend. Now, those mistakes you can protect yourself from through insurance. I mean, you can't prevent every single accident, but what you can do is you can try to live a healthy lifestyle. And I think this is one of the things that financial independence really demands in this age of outrageous medical costs. Is that if you want to be financially free, one of the smartest things you can do is live healthy, right? Take your vitamins and try to eat good foods and try to stay lean and try not to, go overboard in abusing your body. There's so many ways to abuse our body today with all of the corporate food that we have, all of the various types of vices that are available to us. And if we have a little bit of disposable income, then we can really, wreak some havoc on our body. And over time, of course, you're going to have to pay the piper for that, aren't you? You're going to have to show up to the doctor and take more pills and take more of this and that and take more treatments and all of this. Well, one of the ways to avoid that is to keep yourself healthy. So honestly, that's one of the steps. Another step is to really sit down and consider college. Now, I'll tell you this. Both my wife and I have gone to college. We both are using our degrees in some form or fashion, right? So they have come in handy. But I have met a lot of people over the years who ended up in college, and they didn't end up using their college degree, or they end up in college, but then they don't finish, or whatever the case might be. College sometimes becomes an automatic default for people, and they think that if they go to college, they'll be successful, and if they don't go to college, they won't be successful. And we know that that is just clearly not true. If you look at people like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, you go back and you look at some of the most brilliant men, they did not quite do the traditional route, going to high school, then going to college, and then going on to become, mega wealthy. So, every single child doesn't necessarily have to go to college. Sometimes they have something else that's a better use of their time, right? So I would say that really sit down and think about that. Instead of just blindly putting away money for college, just blindly doing it, what does your child, what does he really want to do with his life, right? Does he really want to go to college? Is he going to college because his friends are going to college? Is he going there because you want him to go? Let's think about this a little deeper and protect ourselves and our finances from these huge money drains that oftentimes don't pay off the way that we had hoped. So just some more critical thinking, I think, on the college industrial complex would be wise for modern American parents and future students. All right, so that's number 5. Try to avoid the medical and college industrial complex if possible. All right, and I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm saying make sure you know why you're going if you're going, right? Don't go there to blow off, money. It's a terrible place to blow money. Okay, now the next step, we got 2 more here. Number 6. This is a really important one. Write down your short-term and long-term goals. Now, instead of just saying that and saying you should do that and move on to the next one, I'm going to give you a real specific thing. Today, sit down and write down 3 goals that you want to achieve in the next 90 days. 3. Write them down. You may already be moving towards them, but it's more important to write them down So take 3 things that you want to accomplish over the next 90 days. They don't have to be something huge. They don't have to write a whole book or, travel around the world, but simple things. Like I need to go clean out that garage, or I need to save $1,000, or I need to, and you fill in the blank. Have 3 of those, write them down, and every morning when you wake up, look at that list. Look at that list. In addition to writing down 3 short-term goals, write down maybe 3 long-term goals. I think it's important for us to have short-term goals and long-term goals. I have a piece of paper that I look at on a regular basis that has 3 short-term goals of 90 days. I have 90 days to accomplish these 3 things. And whenever I reach one, I scratch it off, and I can't tell you how good it feels. It still feels good years later. And then I add another one. So I always keep 3 short-term goals in front of me. And then I also have long-term goals that I'm working towards. And if you keep your mind focused in this direction, then you will have more focus in your life, and you will begin to meet those goals. So consider making some financial goals for yourself. Maybe a quick 90-day goal. Sit down, write it down, look at it on a regular basis, and make it happen. All right. And then, so that's number 6. Write down your short-term and long-term goals. All right. And let's finish out with one last one. I tell you, this one's last on today's list, but it's certainly not last in the order for sure. And that is to live generously towards others. Generously towards others. I got to be honest. Part of the beauty of being financially independent is the ability to give. It makes you feel good, in addition to making the person, the recipient, feel good as well. One of the things that I love to do is if I'm in a store, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. I was in a grocery store not too long ago, and I saw a woman who she did not have a wedding ring on, and she had about 3 kids with her. She did not look very rich, and her children certainly looked impoverished as well. I walked up to her, and I handed her a $20 bill, and I just said, "Here you go. Right? Here you go. God bless you." And I walked away. And I turned the corner and I kind of peered back, and she had this look of just absolute awe on her face. And, that $20 bill meant nothing to me. It meant nothing. I mean, I didn't even notice it was missing. But to her, it made all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. Give creatively. Find people who are in need and help them. I don't want to personally tell you the things that I do, because the reason why I do the things that I do is for a heavenly reward, right? I think in terms of eternity. So whenever I give for that purpose. You may not be that way. You may think differently, but that's how I view it. So I don't want to spill the beans on everything that I'm doing, but what I do is specifically to help other people. It makes me feel good, but I also believe that what goes around comes around, and that there will be a day of reckoning whenever everything that we've done on this earth is examined. Financial independence is not just for you to consume upon your own lusts, but instead for you to be a channel of blessing to other people. I truly believe that God gives money to those who He trusts. And if He believes that you will do good with that money, and if He believes that you will take care of those around you who need help, that He will give more to you as a conduit. All right, so let's run through these real quickly again. The 7 ideas that I wrote down here about financial independence. Number 1, learn the difference between good debt and bad debt. Number 2, know your options when it comes to creating income streams. Know that they only come from 3 sources: paper assets, business activity, and real estate. Try to diversify your income streams among those 3. Number 3, upgrade your skill set. Specialize in something. Number 4, stop trying to keep up with the Joneses by realizing the difference between your wants and your needs. Number 5, try to avoid the medical industrial complex through good, healthy living, and the college industrial complex without a good plan in place ahead of time. Don't go blow money at college just to go see how it feels. It's a bad place to blow money. Number 6, write down your short-term and long-term goals. Very, very important that you write down the things that you want to accomplish. And number 7, live generously towards others. It makes financial independence even sweeter. Don't forget you can download our completely free debt PDF report online, ftmdaily.com/debt. And if you're not familiar with our 5 levels of financial freedom, I encourage you to go check it out. You can go to ftmdaily.com/5 levels. Right there, you can read the 5 steps to financial freedom my wife, my family, and I actually took to break free financially. Hey friends, Jerry Robinson here from Follow the Money. Are you ready to learn how to trade the financial markets? Or are you ready to take your current trading to the next level? I want to show you how to trade stocks, commodities, currencies, and options for consistent profits. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to teach you. In fact, we have created a very powerful trading software and education system that provides you with entry and exit signals on every U.S.-based ETF and stock. Our powerful system allows you to identify the current trend in any U.S.-based ETF or stock with high probability entry and exit ideas. You can use our software on any device. And you'll also get access to ongoing live trading coaching videos. And right now we are running a very special deal for all new Platinum and Gold members. Become a member today and start a 7-day free trial. Check out our system. Take a test drive and see if it's right for you. Simply go to followthemoney.com/subscriptions and choose either the Gold or the Platinum plan, and then start your free 7-day trial today. followthemoney.com/subscriptions.
Follow the Money Weekly presents your precious metals market update. Here's Tom Cloud.
I want to start out by saying next week is the Follow the Money Summit in Arkansas. I'm looking forward to being there speaking in person and meeting some of you I've been sending me emails and talking to for years. So hopefully we'll get to see some of you in person next week in Fayetteville. It's still not too late to go. You can contact FTM Daily and see what, how many seats they have left. We'd love to see you. This week I'm going to deal with very specific thing that came in. Most of you won't apply to. If you've got metals, you're taking delivery at home, you're buying them for investment, you're buying them for barter, you're buying them for confidentiality, you're buying them for fall of the US dollar, then certainly you want to hold what you've got personal for potential uses in the future. But who I'm talking to today is that investor that has that protection already, that is looking to move into the bigger dollars as a percentage of their assets in their portfolio. We've talked many times that I have the lowest storage on the planet Earth because, number one, I don't mark it up. Number two, close friends of mine own some of these depositories, and my fees are second to no one. And I want to start out with an example as we get into it. We had a new client that's in the Central Time Zone last week come in. He was paying 1.25% storage fee on tens of thousands of dollars. And by coming being our client and buying a new purchase of 10,000 or more, he was able to take all that and move it and drop his storage cost immensely. I'm talking about way below 50 basis points we can give you. And some of these companies out there are charging you 75 basis points, 1%, 100 basis points, or 125 basis points, meaning 1.25% per year on the value of your gold and silver being stored. So what you want to do is come and call us. We're not allowed to mention our fee on the internet, but if you'll call us, we'll tell you what it is. And secondly, we'll help you get it shipped. This new client heard about us. He got they were asking him to ship his metals from the Central Time Zone to a warehouse in Delaware that we use. And it was going to be over $7,000. we were able to get a $1,500 shipping fee for him, cut his storage over 50%. And when you start talking about every year, the difference of paying $1,200 for every 100,000 down to a fraction of that, then the benefit of dealing with us is even more substantial. Plus, we will come pick the metals up where you have them now, give you a quote to have them moved, and you can get your own quote, and I can promise you they won't come close because we're connected with other wholesalers and a trucking firm that goes around and picks up metals. Now, we'll get into it needs to be palletized if it's a certain amount, and different ways. There are some things you need to know. But you can give us a call at any time at 800-247-2812 to discuss this. But I can tell you in the last month, I have never seen more people more interested. The investor I'm talking about, the big guy that's got his barter coins, his stay-at-home coins. He's got a percentage that he wants to keep in his hands, but now he wants to put a lot more in, or he already has a lot more in, but he wants to get the lowest storage possible at a COMEX warehouse there is in the market. And I am the only game when it comes to that. And once again, I do not charge 1 penny for the markup because I don't feel right about it. So the little bit that we make on the trade, when you become a client of ours, as I've stated many times, we work on 2.5% to 3%, depending on what the product is, compared to the average market that is 4 to 6 times that when you're talking about these telemarketing firms they work on. So hopefully get your house in order while things are quiet, because I can promise you with cryptocurrencies backed by gold coming, more war coming, meetings with the North Koreans coming, there is so much out there that any one of these triggers could start moving right this minute. And gold in particular just continues to march up 27 months, 27% up. And all these things out there with the dollar falling, continuing to fall is nothing but great for gold. And as I've done on this show before, as interest rates go up, gold goes up. Look at 2003 to 2007, when the federal funds rate went from 1.25% to 5.25%, gold was the only thing in town that kept going up. And now that the Fed started raising rates and expect to do so at least one more time this year, you're going to see gold continue up. So once again, if you need to reach us at 800-247-2812. We can also help you with a self-directed precious metals IRA if you don't have that. And if you're still holding rare coins, we advise you to get out of them as quickly as possible. You can get your quote from where you bought them. We'll also give you a quote and sell those for you for nothing. And we'll make a commission when you buy the new product, but we'll sell them for you for nothing and give you the best possible rate. So hopefully we'll see some of you in Arkansas. If not, I'll see you on the internet next week. With this week's Precious Metals Market Update, this is Tom Cloud checking out.
Hey friends, this is Jerry Robinson from Follow the Money Weekly. Recently, we have been receiving many emails from our listeners commenting on the great help they're getting from our precious metals expert, Tom Cloud. Gold and silver are excellent hedges against the growing threat of coming U.S. inflation. Who's your gold guy? Make it Tom Cloud. With over 30 years' experience with precious metals, Tom will answer all of your questions. Don't buy your gold and silver through some call center and pay inflated prices. Call my good friend Tom Cloud and speak directly with him and get all of your questions answered. For a limited time, Tom is offering free shipping and insurance on every gold and silver purchase made by our listeners. Call 800-247-2812. And when you do, tell him that Jerry Robinson from Follow the Money Weekly sent you, and he'll throw in that free shipping and insurance on your entire order. Call your gold guy, Tom Cloud, right now for the very best deals on gold and silver coins. 800-247-2812. That is 800-247-2812.
Hello everybody, this is Mike Mitchell from Strategic Wealth Partners and Christian Financial Referrals, and I want to ask you a question today. Have you heard about the 4% rule when it comes to retirement income planning? That's a concept that has been promoted in the planning industry for several years, which basically develops the concept that if you want to make sure that the assets that you've accumulated for retirement will last a lifetime, you shouldn't take more than 4% of those accumulated assets on an annual basis for income. That may or may not work depending on a lot of circumstances and a lot of variables related to your specific financial situation, such as debt and cost of living and inflation and just a whole host of other issues. Obviously, medical expenses, a whole host of issues could come into play with regard to that 4% rule. But let me talk to you about another concept that I think works quite well when it comes to guaranteeing income for life, and that is the use of annuity riders. Now, I rarely ever recommend to a client that they should annuitize their assets. If they have assets they put into an annuity, I rarely ever recommend that they annuitize them, because you do that simply to be able to assure yourself of a lifetime income stream from those assets, both for your life and possibly for a beneficiary on a joint survivorship arrangement. However, when you do that, you lose control of those assets, which is why I rarely recommend it. Possibly in some situations where it just comes to the transfer of assets with a short term of annuitization, such as a single premium annuity that possibly you are going to annuitize and pay out over, say, a 5-year period to transfer it from position A to position B. That possibly might be a scenario. But when it comes to guaranteeing lifetime income streams, annuities today have riders that can be attached that can guarantee you the stream of an income payment over your lifetime, and you can also arrange those so that there are joint payments. The nice thing about these riders is that to exercise them, you do not have to give up control of the asset base from which the rider is established. So looking into annuities with income riders could be a very good solution to this 4% rule that we've heard people talking about. If you're 67, 68, possibly 70 years of age or older, the payout percentages on these income riders are generally in excess of 4%. So you've established that issue and protected those assets going for a lifetime income stream and being paid out from those annuities with a 4% factor already. But the benefit of that is you don't give up control of the asset base from which that income has been established. If I can help you understand this concept better and see how it can benefit you when it comes to income riders and when it comes to establishing lifetime income streams, give me a call at 833-370-0777 and let me help you establish a sound retirement.
All right, friends, welcome to the concluding moments here of today's podcast. I sure hope you enjoyed today's ideas that we put out, both the 7 different wisdom keys for achieving financial independence, plus what Tom and Mike had to say. You know, these guys who we have on our podcast, they have been at their area of expertise for a very long time, so I strongly encourage you to reach out to them. Both Mike Mitchell is available and Tom Cloud, both available by phone. So if you have any desire to own more precious metals, or you have questions about precious metals, or if you have retirement planning issues that are just popping up in your mind, give them a call. It's no cost, no obligation. It's a great way to get some quick answers to some of life's hairy financial problems that you might have. All right, well, I want to also remind you, don't forget, If you have not yet registered for the 2018 summit and you want to come, don't just show up. Be sure to register first. Go to followthemoney.com/2018 summit, and there you can register and get your seat reserved. It's free, but you have to register. All right, friends. Well, that brings us to the end of our program. As always, I want to leave you with a final word, and this time it's something I wrote in a new book that is coming out from our ministry. TrueRichesAcademy.com is where you can find that. It's a very simple sentence. Here it is. Disillusionment is the first step towards spiritual awakening. It's a very important statement. Let me say it one more time. Disillusionment is the first step towards spiritual awakening. It's not until we realize that we are dissatisfied with what this world offers that we can turn our eyes towards heaven in search of true answers. And that's just something to think about. Remember, friends, when you want the truth, just follow the money. Have a safe and prosperous week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Until then, God bless.
The information contained on the Follow the Money podcast is strictly for informational and educational purposes. It should not be construed as specific investment advice. The views and opinions of our guests and sponsors, including Tom Cloud, are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of FTMDaily.com or Robinson Media Group, LLC. Jerry Robinson does hold an insurance license and at times may offer consulting on life insurance and fixed retirement income products. Follow-up, individualized responses to email or phone requests that involve the rendering of personalized investment advice for compensation will not be made absent compliance with state investment advisor registration requirements or an applicable exemption or exclusion and applicable insurance regulations. Past performance is not indicative of future results. You should be aware of the real risk of loss in following any strategy or investment discussed on the podcast. Remember, never do your financial planning through podcast or radio. It's your money. Be wise. Do your due diligence and always consult a trusted financial professional before making any financial decisions.